I know he's like, I don't want to get divorced again. I'm like, dude, you're on a show where you marry someone in a month and you don't, and you're worried about getting divorced again.
Yeah.
Hi, and welcome to the SaVeg Podcast.
I'm Rose, also known as Cheap Lazy Vegan on YouTube.
And I'm Daniel, one of your favorite guest stars on Cheap Lazy Vegan's YouTube channel.
We're two friends who love to talk about the latest trending topics.
So get comfortable and join us while we give our savage take on just about everything.
You are currently listening to the previous episode of this podcast, but if you would like to listen to this week's episode and get some exclusive content, go over to patreon.com/thesavagepodcast. Hello.
Hello, everyone, and
welcome
back
to another episode
of the SaVeg Podcast.
Guys, we are back with a non-pre-recordation, and we are back with our lovely series.
Yes.
The reactions to the shit show.
That is Love is Blind.
Exactly.
Or as the kids like to call it these days, LIB.
LIB.
Yeah.
Is it one of the most popular reality shows
I don't
nowadays?
know.
I feel like it must be because there's so many different countries that are doing it.
Oh my
now.
God. It's actually crazy, guys. I was on Netflix the other day and it was
Yeah.
like, there's like Love is Blind Sweden, Love is Blind Japan, Love is Blind Brazil.
Habibi.
Love is Blind Habibi. I did actually watch a little bit of it.
Did you?
It was quite funny.
Okay, I might want to watch that one. Is it in English though?
Well, it's
Where's it set at?
I think it's in UAE or
okay.
something.
Like Dubai, maybe?
Like I think so.
Okay.
And but the thing is they like, I don't know if this is common in the Middle East, but they like speak in Arabic, but then they flip-flop.
Oh.
So they'll like say stuff. They'll be like, oh, blah 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 in Arabic, and then be like
something in English.
something completely in English.
Oh, interesting.
And so as they're on these dates, they're like flipping back and forth.
Oh, interesting.
Which is a bit ironic.
So how is it ironic?
Well, it's not ironic at all. I don't know why I said that.
You always say something's ironic,
Mm.
but like it's not ironic.
Yeah. Guys, we're also a little bit out of practice. We haven't done a recordation in a few weeks
It's been
together.
a few weeks. I'll be in London.
Yeah, London.
No, I wasn't. God, see, I'm also going crazy. I'm a bit jet lagged. Okay, I've been in Bali.
Rose, I
Okay,
didn't know you were in London as well. What you be doing
I
in London?
wasn't. I was in Bali. I don't know where London came from.
London
I was
on the
in
brain.
Bali hosting my second Bali vegan tour,
Yes.
which was awesome.
Yes.
And oh, by the way, me and Daniel, we are hosting a tour together next year. We're doing a vegan camping and hiking tour. That's happening in the Canadian Rockies.
Yes.
Which is in our backyard. That's happening in August 2025. So if you guys want to sign up, there's already 14 people that sign up.
Holy
and
shit.
I think it goes up to 22. So we only have like 8 spots left.
Yeah.
So sign up if you want to come along with us.
It's
Okay.
going to be a fun time, guys. We're going to go hiking.
Oh, it's going to be
We're gonna
so
go
fun.
camping together.
I'm super excited. And we also have some new patrons.
Right. Okay.
Woo!
So before we do these shout outs, Rose, do you want to remind the children?
Yeah, the children.
To remind the children
The
what
adults, Daniels.
the adults.
So for Patreon, guys, if you guys join our Patreon family, you get ad-free content.
Mm-hmm.
You get every episode a week earlier than everybody else. So our patrons will get this episode very quickly.
Yep.
And you will get a shout out at the beginning of the show if you join.
Yep.
And you get a bonus episode every single month.
Yes.
Just for you.
Just for you.
So we want to thank the following lovely people for joining:
Stephanie,
Brooklyn,
Joanna,
and Yuka.
welcome.
Woohoo!
Welcome to the
Yay!
family.
Welcome to the family.
Yeah.
And now let's jump into talking about
Oh, God. Oh, guys.
Love is Blind Season 7.
First of all, I can't believe we're on 7 seasons.
7 seasons. This is the USA version.
Yep.
We're going to talk about the USA.
We're going to talk about the United States of America. And for once, it's not about Trump.
And this time,
damn.
Love is Blind Season 7 is set in Washington, D.C.
Right. Oh, I did want to digress for 2 seconds, though.
Okay, what is it?
Have you, and I can't remember if I brought this up on the last episode because it's been a little while since we recorded live. Have you heard the remix of Donald Trump's speech when they like take it and they like he says
No.
he says this line? I don't remember.
Is it the dog's line? Okay.
Eating the cats. I'm eating the dogs.
What, is the song really good or something?
It's not that good, but it's so fucking funny. And it's like the way they put like a house beat on it. It's like,
Yeah.
we're eating the cats. We're eating the dogs. eat the cats. Eat the cats. And people have gone wild on TikTok.
Oh my
with it.
God. No, I haven't. Maybe I've heard it. I don't know.
I'll show it to you after.
Okay.
Remind me when we're done this recordation, but when we have dinner, I'll show it to you. It's
Sound
not
good.
it's like a good song, but it's fucking funny. Anyway, so Love is Blind.
Back to Love is Blind.
Yeah. So they're in Washington.
They're in Washington D.C.
Yeah.
And
is it the Apple State? No.
It's the capital of the United States.
Yes, that's right.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's where the White House is and stuff.
Why got to be wide?
The White House, Daniel? You know what the White House is, right, Daniel?
It's a White House.
Oh my God.
God damn. I know that much. I'm not born in Back Swamp, Mississippi, okay? I understand.
You don't have to be born in Mississippi to know what the White House is, Daniel.
This is true.
What's the White House?
It's it's like our House of Commons. It's like where they do the presidential, where
it's where like the president basically, isn't it where they live?
Yeah, they like live
they
when
live
they
in
do
the White
their
House.
yeah, and then they also do all
yeah,
of
they
their
do a bunch of shit in the fucking White House.
Yeah, all the like a lot of the government stuff happens
yes,
there.
okay.
The government things.
Okay, I'm glad you know. I wasn't sure if you were joking.
I was completely kidding. I know what it looked like too, Rose. Okay, I could draw you a picture.
You could? I don't think so.
Could.
Not a very good one. Anyway.
Excuse me. Anyway.
So Love is Blind. So if you don't know the premise, let me just explain very quickly the premise of the show. So it's a reality TV show. So it's not to be taken super seriously.
Right.
Okay. And it's basically where a bunch of hopeful singles meet up in this like set. And the men and women are divided accordingly, and they do not see each other. And they go into these things, what they call pods.
Yes, the dating pods.
Which Daniel loves so much.
Oh, God. No, you know what I love about the pods, though? I love that, like, they lean on this thing, and they always talk about, like, nobody knows. Like, nobody knows because they weren't in the pods.
To be fair, we probably don't know. But
I know,
we probably
but, like,
also don't want to know.
No, because I'm like, seriously? Anyway, we'll go into it.
We'll go into it.
Yeah.
So they do these dates in these pods, but they are like legitimate blind dates, as in they don't see each other, but they're just talking to each other.
Yeah.
So they're sat there, and for a few days, they're simply talking to one another.
Yeah.
And people form these connections.
Yeah.
And then eventually a few of them get engaged.
Right.
In the pods without seeing each other, and then eventually they meet each other in person, and then shit happens. What's going? Oh my God! Ah! Guys, I have a pigeon problem in my fucking balcony.
There's an infestation.
Oh my God, there's literally an infestation of pigeons on my balcony, and it's actually a problem. So we, like, basically, the other day, opened the balcony door. There are piles of pigeon shit.
Oh no.
All over the balcony. I don't know what to do. They've like made a home in this.
Oh God,
okay?
Rose, this is a problem.
I know. I bought a bunch of things to like, so I'm going to put some like spikes to prevent them from sitting on the railings.
Yeah.
And I bought like these like shiny things that are supposed to prevent them from coming over.
Yeah.
But I don't know if it's going to work.
Like, you're going to need to put some spikes on that light.
I know. I realize I need to put some spikes on that light.
They like to perch there.
And then if you open the door, like that balcony door, there's like piles of shit on it.
Oh.
Because like we noticed the other day that there was a pigeon sitting like on the railing, the top of the door.
Yeah.
And I think they just kind of sit there and they just like shit all over.
This happened to my friend. So their balcony.
Don't scare me.
They ended up having this pigeon that like had a nest there.
Oh no.
And then they had little babies. So like they couldn't do anything. So they left the babies until they got older. But like their whole balcony, and it was just like a family of pigeons.
And it's
the
so much
whole
shit.
balcony was covered in shit. I was like, how do like
they
3
shit
pigeons
so much.
like shit so much?
Seriously. So I need to figure out if it's multiple pigeons or if it's like a few pigeons that are just like making their
business there.
Because like
I saw 2 so far.
Yeah, I had a pigeon problem last year too, but it wasn't as bad.
Yeah.
But now this year it's like gotten worse. I don't know why.
Yeah, if it makes you feel any better, I had a beetle infestation.
Ooh, that's even worse.
Well, it wasn't a full beetle infestation, guys. Basically what happened was apparently this type of bug, it's like a little black with like red bug.
Ooh,
They're like harmless. I looked them up.
But like nobody wants that in their house.
Oh no, of course. And so, and it hasn't, I say infestation, I'm obviously exaggerating, but like when, in the hot, like sometimes people will see this, like when buildings are really, really hot, these bugs will be like all over the side of the building. These like black and red bugs.
Yeah. Oh, I know which ones.
Yeah. So
they're outside.
Yeah, they're outside.
This was a big problem last year in the summer.
And this year, because it's been such hot, dry summers, their population's like exploded.
Oh no.
And what happens when it gets a little bit cooler is they try to find the warm spots, which are inside, right?
No.
Yeah. So the other day, like this is like last week, I was like walking in my house and I was like in my bedroom and I look and then there was one on my wall and I was like, ugh. So I took a little piece of paper towel and then I threw it on my balcony so it was outside or whatever.
Oh, you saved it.
Yeah. And then I closed the door and as I'm walking to the bathroom, there was like another one.
Oh my
and I was
God,
like,
no.
I was like, what? So in one day I found like 4.
That
and I
means
was like,
there's way more.
I know. And I was like, what the fuck? And then I was
oh
like,
my God, I would freak the fuck out.
I was freaking out. And then one of them was in my room and I was like, oh, I'll come get it in just a second. I go back and it was disappeared. And I was like, where the fuck is it?
Oh my
And
God.
Yeah.
And then what'd you do?
I couldn't find it again.
Did you get someone to come and? So how did you get rid of them?
Well, I don't see any more anymore.
Oh, okay, that's good.
There was like maybe 4 or 5 like for a week that I kept seeing like a couple every day.
Oh no!
But now I don't see them again.
Okay, thank God.
So I think
you gotta be careful, Daniel.
I know. I think
a lookout.
Oh, 100%. I think if it was like a big problem, there would have been a lot more.
I hope so. I hope you're right, Daniel.
God damn,
you might need an exterminator.
God damn.
Oh.
I don't want to think about it, but anyway.
Oh, okay. Anyway, guys.
Yeah.
God, we are really great at staying on track of this topic today. So, they're in these pods. They're dating. They get engaged. Some of them get engaged.
They get engaged sight unseen.
Sight unseen.
Yeah.
And then they like meet and then they see each other in person. And then the engaged couples go on to do a honeymoon of some sort.
Yeah.
Where they spend like a few days together in like some tropical, beautiful place like Mexico or something. And then after that, they spend a month in the real world where they get to meet each other's families and like see how you are in like the real world.
Well, and I love the way they position everything, right? So first they get engaged sight unseen. then they go on this romantic resort because this is what the goal of this is to turn that emotional connection into a physical one. And then after that, they go into the real world.
And see if any differences such as race
Yeah.
or financial. God, we watched the show way too much.
Well, I mean, we're on season 7.
Yeah, we're on season 7, and we've literally watched every season.
And we did one of the UK as well.
Yeah, so really, we've watched 8 seasons.
Oh, God.
So, guys, we're going to go through, how we always do. We go through each couple.
Yeah.
Or, we'll go through the non-couples as well, because there were some prominent ones.
Yes.
Well, kind of. Anyway, there were some prominent people in the beginning that didn't necessarily make it through the entire show, which I was kind of sad about.
Yeah.
So let's start with Leo, the art dealer that doesn't want anyone to know that he's rich, but that's the only thing he can talk about.
This guy, oh my God. This guy.
His name's Leo, right? I think so.
I think so.
Yeah.
Was it?
Let me find the list here.
Yeah, if you can.
Okay, so keep going.
Oh,
Just
yeah.
talk.
So anyway, so the funny thing about this guy, though, is like literally I'm like, okay, buddy, you're behind a wall. Nobody can see what you're wearing. Nobody knows if you have a fucking Rolex on because that was brought up at one point. Mm-hmm. So no one can see any of that stuff. So if you don't want people to know that you have money, this is your perfect opportunity. You don't have to lie and be like, oh, I grew up poor. Yeah. But like, you also don't have to be like, literally almost the first thing he said to all the women were like, I'm lucky. I really don't have to worry about money. Yeah. I run a successful art business. I inherited a shit ton of money from my parents. It's like, dude, if you do not want somebody to know that you're rich, why the fuck are you doing that? Like, why are you leading with this? It was so frustrating.
It was so annoying.
And he was such an annoying person as well.
I'm like, how does anyone find him attractive?
Yeah.
And he did this thing where I'm pretty sure his name was Leo. Hold on. Let me, I don't know why I can't find. Oh yeah, his name was Leo. So he did this thing where he's like, he would go into these dates. Yeah. And he'd be like, I just really want someone to love me for who I am and not all the shit ton of money I have, not the fact that I'm an extremely successful and very wealthy art dealer that just inherited millions of dollars. Yeah. Not because of that. I want you to love me for who I am. And I'm like,
I know. And then the funny thing is too, though, of all the girls he starts to really fall for, one of the girls that he starts liking is God, what was her name? The blonde girl.
Britney or something?
I think it's Britney.
Yeah. The blonde girl who was hilarious.
Who was like, by the way, guys, I'm a trophy wife.
Yeah, I want to marry for money.
Yeah, and then
it was a perfect.
It was like literally.
Oh, it's all right.
No, I was like, what the hell? Literally, like you don't want a girl that's a gold digger. You don't want a girl that wants you for your money, but you're going to talk about your money and go for the girls that want you for your money. Like, I was like, what
but
the?
It was so let's talk about that love triangle for a second.
Yeah.
So for some reason, this Leo man somehow got 2 girls that like him. And I think one of the girls definitely liked the fact that he had a lot of money. That would be Britney. Yeah. So he somehow, in his blubbering conversations where he continuously said like about 50 million times. I've never heard anyone, like, I know I say like as well. Yeah. And I say it more than I would like to. And I think I noticed it a lot when we started doing this podcast. Yeah. Me and you both. We both say it more than we should.
I don't say it barely ever.
We're always like, da da da, like, so it is like definitely as I said it. Yeah. It is a North American tendency.
Yes.
Okay. And I hate it. I hate that I say it more than I want to.
Mm-hmm.
But this man,
oh my God,
there was like a scene where it was like every like second, like it was like I couldn't even say anything like to express like my feelings like.
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
Like it was that bad.
Yeah.
And I was like, holy shit. He needs to stop saying like.
Yeah.
Anyways, and I wasn't the only one that noticed it. I remember other people were commenting on it.
Yeah. Well, and the thing that got me too is I thought it was so funny so he was in this love triangle with Britney, and Hannah was the other one, who ended up with somebody else.
Yes.
But Hannah was interesting because, you know, both of them, and I'm surprised that Britney ended up getting engaged to him.
They just wanted to be on the show.
Yeah.
Garrett and fucking T, they didn't even like each other. What the fuck was going on?
I don't know. And the thing is with her, she was like, Britney was like, I don't want to be your second choice, blah, 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 blah. And then she was saying, like, do you like me, or do you like, are you wanting to do this? And he's like, well, I have two strong connections.
Oh my God.
And even Hannah, like, I do enjoy that she kind of called him out a little bit.
Yes.
And was just said to him, look, you clearly like somebody else. I enjoy someone else's company. This isn't working. Like, and then he goes, oh, you're giving up on us. Blah, blah, blah. Like, I want to take this to the end with you. And would it make a difference if I told you I loved you or something? She's like, oh my God.
It was such a shit show.
Yeah. It's like, he just was desperate.
I think the whole thing, all three of them, including Hannah, they were all just wreaking, desperation to not only, like, they were so all desperate to match with somebody.
Yeah.
Because what happened was, initially, do you remember? Because Hannah, who, I have a lot of thoughts on Hannah.
Yeah.
Okay, we're going to get there. Hannah was with, in a love triangle with Nick and Leo, okay? Yeah. And at first, because Nick, also lots of thoughts on Nick.
Oh, God.
Nick was all like, oh, apparently he was all charming and shit, which I don't even understand.
Nick Suave.
He was suave, Mr. Suave.
Yeah.
And all these girls were like, oh my God, he's kind of like full of shit, which he was actually.
Yeah.
And so Hannah was listening to other people's opinions, and she's kind of young as well. I think she was like 26 or something.
Yeah, she's 26.
She was like the youngest one on the show.
And Nick was like 28.
Yes, something like this. So Hannah was listening to other people's opinions, and because she had two choices, she was like, oh, you know what? I'm going to dump Nick. Yeah. She dumps Nick, and then immediately, right after she dumps Nick, Britney comes in, and she's like, oh my God, I had such a good date with, like, what's his face? Leo. So then Hannah realizes, oh shit, I have some competition with Leo. So, oh wait, I made a mistake dumping Nick.
Yeah.
I don't think, like, immediately that fast, as soon as the other girl says, oh, I have a connection with the same person that you now only have a connection with.
Yeah.
All of a sudden, she regrets her decision to match with Nick. Like, come on now.
I know.
Oh, so then she goes back to fucking Nick and is like, oh, actually, like, I kind of like you.
Yeah.
And I made a mistake.
Our connection's genuine. I love you.
Within like less than 24 hours, it was basically, oh, now I choose you, even though I literally dumped you like yesterday.
Yeah.
But now I choose you.
Yeah.
Because time is, there's no such thing as time in the pods. Not in the pods. So then she goes back to Nick and she's basically like, okay, we're a couple now. Yeah. We're basically like, we're great again.
Yeah.
So then she goes back to Leo, and this is when Leo has a full-on meltdown.
Yeah. Because she just basically said to him, I'm with somebody else.
And then he was like, I think he hated the idea of losing that power of having two girls
100%.
fawning over him, because he was so enjoying that.
Oh yeah, and that's why he had a meltdown.
He had
such a meltdown about this.
Hannah, how could you do this to us, Hannah? But what if I came up to you first? Yeah. What if I told you first that I loved you? Then Hannah, wouldn't you have chosen me? I'm like, yesterday you were like, oh, I don't know which one. I don't know.
I'm not sure. I like them both. Blah blah blah. It's like, dude.
And he had a full-on meltdown. Hannah freaks out because she was like, what the fuck is happening?
And then he runs back to Britney.
Yeah.
And is like, let's get married.
Yeah. He runs back to Britney. He's like, oh, I love you so much.
Yeah.
Anyway, so eventually, Nick and Hannah, they get engaged.
Yeah.
And then Leo and Britney get engaged. Now, Leo and Britney, they get engaged. And can we talk about the reveal?
Oh. And then her like little, when they do the interviews with them like solo, and she's like, have I made a huge mistake?
Yeah. I kind of low-key like loved Britney because I thought she was hilarious, like hysterical.
Yeah, she was funny. She was actually
Britney
quite
was
funny.
actually very like physically attractive. I think she was like probably one of the more attractive girls on the show. Yeah. So Leo, as soon as he sees Britney, he is like full on.
Oh yeah.
Like can't hide his obsession with the fact that she is hot as fuck.
Yeah,
Okay,
like
he's like,
so
oh,
hot.
she's like the hottest girl ever, and he's like all over her, and you can tell she is so not into it.
Oh yeah, she's like, because he definitely was an acquired taste.
I don't know how long it's gonna take to acquire that taste.
A couple years. That was a taste that does.
I'm gonna have to see a few $1 million before I acquire any sort of taste.
Well, he's got that. So you could be tasting a lot for $1 million.
I just hate it. It's like his entire personality was that he was rich and he was an art dealer.
But the thing I loved about it, which is the irony of the situation, is his entire. You're right. His entire personality was the fact that he has money as an art dealer. So he thinks. I think in his mind he thinks he's very alternative because he's like an art dealer.
Yeah.
So he's very like artsy. This is his mind thought, and because of that, because he like considers himself kind of like alternative and artsy, he doesn't want people to know about his money. But yeah, he just fucking tells everyone anyway.
He wants people to know
exactly.
about his money.
He like,
yes.
You know what I'm saying? He's like trying to like, he's like
trying to be different, but at the same time, he wants to like brag about his money because he has to. That's his only personality trait.
I know. I was like, why? Honestly, I literally wanted to like slap the screen when he was like, he's like in his one-on-one interview, he's like, yeah, I just, I'm really loving this experiment because I want people to like me for me and not just because I'm fucking loaded. And then like literally the first date he goes on, within like minutes, he's like, yeah, I'm fucking so wealthy. I just don't even have to worry about money.
But it's an insecurity of mine because girls only like me for my tremendous wealth.
Yeah. And I was like, what the fuck is this guy on? Anyway.
Like, here's the thing. If you truly didn't want people to know, if you truly didn't want girls to like you for money, this is literally the best opportunity for you to test that out.
Which begs to question that no matter what, even if he goes on regular dates, I'm sure he always brings it up.
Oh, for sure. And it's such a turn off.
I'm a wealthy art dealer.
Oh,
yeah, I'm an art dealer. Yeah, I'm wealthy.
So then after they do this big reveal, to be honest, because they were such a shit show, I did want to see them through the engagement because Britney was so turned off by him.
Yeah.
And it was so obvious. You could tell she was so turned off, and like she was probably thinking, oh, I'm totally out of his league. And then right after their engagement, there's like this message on screen that's like, oh, we've decided not to follow this couple. What did it say? It's like they went to Miami instead of going to Mexico or wherever the hell they went.
Yeah.
Did they go to Mexico? Was it Mexico?
Yeah, I think it's usually Mexico, I think. I think it was Mexico.
Like, basically they were like, oh, we're not going to follow this couple. And I think a lot of people were disappointed because we want to see, not because we think they're a good couple.
Because we want to see that train wreck.
Exactly.
Yeah. Well, and I think it's because also too, didn't they talk about in the pods, maybe they're like, well, should we just like, we can do our own thing?
Oh, maybe. I don't know. I barely pay attention to the pods. Yeah. So anyway, so they didn't follow that couple. They ended up calling off the engagement after they went on their own little Miami trip.
Yeah.
And
so they're no longer together.
Yep. So that was that. That was that couple. So now let's go into the other couples.
Should we do Hannah?
Hannah
and Nick D.
So Nick D.
Yeah.
So Nick D and Hannah get engaged.
Yeah.
Again, we don't understand because there was all these couples, all the pods. We don't know what's going on in the pods. Okay.
We'll never understand.
We
should do an experiment once, but we know each other, so it's like different. Like,
no, that wouldn't work, Daniel, because we know each other.
Yeah, true.
It would have to be someone that you've never met.
Yes.
And someone that you want to develop a romantic connection with.
That's true. Okay, we can't recreate it.
That is not.
Yeah. Okay.
So, they meet, and again, okay. Well, can I just say before we go into any more of this?
Yeah.
Can I just say that? What is up with the casting on the show, especially this season? I feel like the attractiveness of the men this season compared to the women, there was an imbalance there. I feel like most women were pretty attractive.
Yeah.
Like some women absolutely gorgeous.
Yeah.
The majority of all men, other than Ramses, which, I have my thoughts on Ramses.
Oh, God, me too.
He was the most physically attractive one.
Yeah.
Everyone else was like mediocre at best, if not below average, which again, I'm all for it, but I'm like, why don't you do the same for the women? I feel like the women were very attractive. And actually, a lot of them were quite successful and pretty decent.
Yeah.
And a lot of the men, like, why do men? Okay. Why do men? Mm-hmm. That's the theme of this entire fucking season.
Yeah.
Because all the men were fucked. All the men were fucked. Okay. They were either man children, which Nick was.
Yeah. Oh my God. Nick was a man child.
Cheating. They were.
Oh my God.
They were lying on the show. Okay, they were divorced and had ex-wife baggage.
Yep.
And pretended to be progressive, but was trying to force his wife for intimacy or something. The only kind of normal guy was Garrett, which I wasn't even a huge fan of anyway.
Yeah,
but
yeah,
like
yeah.
he was the most normal, decent man.
Yeah.
But like
God damn.
they were all shitty.
That's true. That's very true.
Like, is this what's left in the?
I guess that's what's left in the 30s when people are.
Well, I was actually thinking about this.
Yeah.
Because I was like, okay, so like the women, I feel like again, they're not perfect, and some women, I have my thoughts on some of these women.
Yeah, yeah.
But I feel like on paper and like physically, they were pretty attractive. They're relatively successful. A lot of them are well educated. They seem pretty good, right?
Yeah.
And they're single. And I'm like, and then all the men were kind of like just shitty. And I'm like, why is it like this? And then I thought it's because when women become more attractive, successful, educated, their dating pool actually shrinks.
Yeah.
Whereas when a man becomes those things, their dating pool actually enlarges. It gets bigger because
Right.
you know the whole thing about women don't want to date someone that's like less educated or
Right.
so that's why it's like most of the kind of decent men were probably taken.
Right.
Or they won't go on a show like this.
Yeah.
That's another thing.
Yeah.
Anyway.
So
Okay, Nick
Hannah
and
and Nick D.
So they meet up.
Yeah.
What'd you think of the reveal, Daniel?
Well, first of all, I think that they were both like I don't want to knock people's looks at all, right? But I feel like they both misinterpreted themselves to each other. Because like Nick, he's okay looking.
Oh, he's less than okay looking in my personal opinion, but
he played it off.
Oh yeah.
Like he was this like jacked football player that he was like super tall and big and and then Hannah like and again I did hear like rumors that she like actually put on a bit of weight. She used to be thinner and blah 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 blah.
No. She lost weight. She said she lost 40 pounds.
Yeah, she put on weight, then she lost it, but I think she's still not got to as small as she used to be.
Oh, okay.
I think, if I remember correctly, because
in the show she said she just lost 40 pounds.
Yeah, but she still wasn't down to where she.
Oh,
I think she had gained more than that.
She lost more after the show. Continue.
Yeah. So we'll probably find out on the reveal, which is.
I've been seeing their TikToks and she's lost weight.
Okay.
But yeah, the reunion is like tomorrow, I think.
Yeah. So basically, but she played it off like she was like this cheerleader, like this kind of like,
right.
And she was like not, again, I don't want to knock her body or anything.
Yeah,
she didn't have like a bad body, but she definitely wasn't like super in shape like a cheerleader.
Sure,
you know
sure.
What I mean? Like, remember that, what was that girl's name? AC from the previous season.
I don't know who AC is.
I think her name was
God,
AC.
how do you remember these people?
She was the black girl that was like had like the most. She was a cheerleader.
I don't remember.
Okay. Anyway,
I forget these people as soon as we do this episode.
Well, that's probably good. But anyway, so she was like, so they both kind of misled each other a little bit.
Well, he did worse though because I remember, if I remember correctly, I'm pretty sure he said something like, "Oh, I'm better looking than Travis Kelce," or something like this. And I don't know who Travis Kelce is, but I can guarantee you are not better looking than Travis Kelce. Yeah. Okay? And he like was comparing himself to all these people. And I will say again, okay, to put it out there, because we live in this sexist world. Remember when I remember Chelsea from like the previous seasons, she was like, "Oh, some people think I look like Megan Fox."
Right.
And that went full on viral. That moment, like she will never live down this moment. This is the most viral moment in like Love is Blind history.
Yes.
But then where is the same energy for this guy who literally says something like, "Oh, I look like Travis Kelce," or
I look better than Travis Kelce.
It's like we should have that same energy for this man, which we don't.
Yeah.
Big problem.
That's true.
Anyway, so they're both like misleading each other. Mm-hmm. He's this like tiny little man.
Yeah. Then the reveal, and even you could see on Hannah's face, she's like,
"Oh, she was so unimpressed."
She's like, "I'm like the same height as you in heels."
Yeah.
I was like,
she was so not happy.
No, and you could tell, and it was just like the whole thing was very awkward between the two of them.
So awkward. I felt like he was like kind of okay with her. Like I didn't think he was that. He seems like, listen, he's a man child, which we'll get to.
Oh God.
But I feel like he's like deep down, he's like a nice guy. He's just a bit insecure.
Yeah.
But he doesn't really like he doesn't say anything super mean.
Yeah.
And he seems to be like a decent, like a nice guy. Like he's not like a bad person.
Yeah.
And he's kind of like, oh yeah, like he didn't say anything bad about Hannah or her looks. I think Hannah's actually very pretty.
She is
like,
pretty, yeah.
Physically, I think she's quite like pretty.
Yeah.
And he didn't seem to have a problem. I don't think he had a problem anyway.
Yeah.
But then we get to the honeymoon.
Right.
Now,
right.
what do we think about the honeymoon?
Well, this is when Hannah starts.
Oh,
she basically, I feel like with Nick, she kind of like just. First of all, I mean, it goes both ways, but I think because Nick is such a man-child.
Yes.
I mean, he like lives in his parents' basement. He like doesn't really do anything for himself. Like even he got a cat. And it's his dad that gets up in the morning.
But this is after she finds, right?
Yeah,
okay.
But I'm just using that as examples.
Sure.
But like,
he's a man-child.
He's a man-child. And I think she realizes this on the honeymoon, like what a man-child he was.
Right.
And she starts like kind of really treating him like a child.
Like a child, but also like, I really hated the way she treated him.
Oh, she was mean.
She was so mean. It was almost abusive.
Yes.
Honestly, by the end of the relationship, it was so abusive.
I'm surprised he stuck around for so long.
This is what I'm
every
saying.
single time she would be like, why are you doing it like this?
Yeah.
What are you doing?
Like,
why are you
so
doing this?
bad.
Like, I have to do all this work and you do nothing. You do nothing. And he's like, she's like, what have you done today? He's like, I literally just got home from work.
Which, by the way, she also quit her job to be on the show. So, like, you know, like, who's to talk here?
Exactly. He works full time. She was at home all day.
And, oh God.
Like, it was.
This is another thing. I wonder how much. I do think he probably did mislead a bit in the pods.
Right.
Based on like the things that she was saying. She was like, oh, he said that he could cook and he didn't even know how to fucking boil pasta.
Yeah. That would be annoying.
So I understand that. Like, and I do think, again, his persona that he was probably putting on in the pods, the whole like suave.
Yeah.
That did not translate at all in real life.
No.
Right? Like, again, I think he's maybe insecure and he's trying to put on the show.
Yeah. Well, he basically wants to go from his parents' house, being taken care of by his mom and dad, to being taken care of by his partner. You know? He wants to do like that transition or whatever.
Yeah.
But I also think on the honeymoon, there was a specific incident that happened.
Oh my God, the duck incident.
Yes, where he goes and rides a fucking duck.
Okay, but like also, I think was it a bit immature and stupid? Yes.
Sure.
Her reaction?
Oh my God, over the top.
It was so over the top. She just didn't like him from the very beginning.
She didn't. She was looking for reasons. She was looking for a reason to get the ick everywhere.
Yeah, and everywhere. She was getting the ick everywhere. And she just did not like this man. I feel like she just wanted to stay on the show again.
I think
because
she really did.
Honestly, in real life, she guaranteed this would have been over. First day of the honeymoon.
Exactly. She's like,
he got on that duck. It's over.
Yep. She's like, that duck, instant ick.
Yeah.
I can't see you the same way.
He just wanted to be silly. Yes, it's a little, but okay.
But I wouldn't have cared. I would have been like,
if you love this man, that's the thing. If you're really in love with this person, he could do something stupid and you probably just laugh it off and be like, oh, you're stupid.
Exactly.
But if you really don't like them and you're in a relationship, you would get the ick so bad. So I understand.
Yeah.
Getting the ick.
But I think what she should have done, like if she is, they were obviously not compatible, right?
Yeah.
Why continue this on for as long as you did? Like just end it.
God.
Just fucking end it.
Put the man out of his misery.
Exactly. But even the way, like, and honestly, do have to applaud Nick. I know he's a man-child. I know that he has a lot of growing up to do as a 28-year-old. Because I was like, okay, come on. Like, you literally, your parents do everything for you. You live
to be fair, do we blame him or do we blame the parents? Both, yeah.
Because it's a two-way street, right?
Sure.
But it's like, I get it. Rent's expensive, all this stuff. Let's say you do live at your parents. It's like, we'll take on some responsibility. Take care of your fucking cat.
Sure.
Do those kind of things. But I do applaud him for the way, like, because Hannah, even especially on their breakup scene, when she like berated him, and she always had her notes. Her notes where she was like, and he found them on the honeymoon. It was like,
yes, that was the worst.
Yeah.
Oh, that's when I was like, oh, I cannot defend you, girl.
No.
She had a list of all his issues.
Yeah.
Written down, and it was like on the table for him to like look at.
Yeah, and see. So she had her little notebook. Yeah.
I'm sorry. He should have broken up with her right then and there.
Can you imagine? Like if I get him to come into our hotel room and there's a book with all the things they don't like about me.
Yeah.
And it's like character flaws.
Yeah.
Like,
it's like, sorry, you clearly don't like me. I'm gone.
Exactly. But I do applaud Nick for when they did sit down and Hannah was like, look, this isn't working. We're not going to go to the aisle, blah, 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 blah. And she basically went off and just like ripped him a new one and was like, you're a child. You don't know how to do anything. Like you're blah, blah, blah.
You have no responsibilities in life. You don't remember anything, but I do.
Yeah.
Like, what the fuck?
It's just mean. She was just being
so mean.
He never, ever once, he apologized. He never once got aggressive with her. Because some guys, if you did that to them, they would blow up. I would blow up. If someone's sitting there being like, oh, you're this, you're that, you're that. I'm like, well, hang on a second. You're no angel either, bitch.
Yeah.
But like he sat there and
he was respectful.
He did not raise his voice. He stayed very calm and collected. And he was like, if that's how you feel, I'm sorry I made you feel this way. Like he was and I think that's, a big character thing for him.
Totally. And when they met the parents, his parents were so lovely.
Oh my God, they're so
as
sweet.
Much as they spoiled their son too much, but they were so sweet. So you could tell like he comes from like good family.
Yeah, this is the thing.
Yeah.
You said it from the beginning.
Mm-hmm.
He is a nice guy. Like there's nothing like seems like a genuinely nice person.
Sure.
The issue is he's 28 years old and he really like if you look at the way he lives and everything else, it's like he just hasn't lived life. His parents have babied him too much. And this is a big problem. Like parents do not do this to your children.
I know.
You do not set them up for success in life.
Exactly. But Hannah was just awful.
She was like a mean girl.
Oh, she was so like it was literally abusive. I was like, oh my God, that scene where they were again. I understand. I've seen people talk about this online.
Yeah,
and it's so frustrating because like people either just pick one side or the other. Some people are like defending Nick and saying Hannah was just awful and like blah 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 and like Nick's just this angel.
Yeah.
Or some people, especially in like the kind of gender wars, some people are like, oh, this man is like a man child. She was standing up for herself, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, two things can be true at the same time. He is a man child. And yes, he is definitely not perfect. And he probably did mislead Hannah. But at the same time, Hannah does not have to communicate this way.
Yeah.
Either you can break up with him from the beginning when you realize you're not compatible, when you think he's a man child, break up with him, or talk to him in a respectful manner. If you respect this man, she didn't respect him from the get-go.
Some of the things she said, I wish I could remember, but
she said, I turned a boy into a fucking man.
Yes.
What, within 3 days of engagement?
Exactly. But she's just like, I have to think like she was just like belittling him so much. Like I have never seen somebody on this show that I recall belittle someone so much. It was
so bad.
Like it was like to the point where it was abusive. I was like, oh God, and
imagine if it was flipped the genders.
Oh yeah. People would be like, what the fuck?
There's no way.
Yeah.
Right.
And I get it. Like I don't disagree that Nick, had a lot of growing up to do. And yeah, that might've been frustrating for somebody that was a bit more independent and like whatever. But there is a way to go about it. If you respect that person and you do actually like them, to like talk to them about it. And like, yeah, maybe they don't know how to boil pasta and whatever, but maybe you like cook together and make it fun, you know? Don't be like, what the fuck are you doing? What is this? Like, do this, do that. Like nobody's gonna respond well to that. And like, I'm surprised Nick didn't blow up.
Honestly, it does. You do make a good point because he remained calm. And also even like scenes where I was like, I am shocked that he is not walking away because that scene where she sits him down, and again, you can do this in such a more productive and respectful way.
Yeah.
When she sits him down and she's like talking about how they're going to delegate their finances and the responsibilities, but she's just like, so what exactly what are your responsibilities in life?
Yeah. Oh my God. Yeah.
If somebody fucking asks me, what are your responsibilities in life? I don't care if I've never paid a bill. I'd be like, you know what? Fuck you.
Yeah.
Maybe it may not be my fault. Maybe, who the fuck knows?
But the worst is like if you start telling them your responsibilities.
Yes.
And then they negate them all and they're like, no. Who does that? No, Rose. Who does that?
Yeah.
What is your...
So how is this going to work when right now your car payments and blah, 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 blah. Well, I've been taking care of myself since I was 18 years old.
Yeah.
And all my bills are under me. So how are we... And I'm like, okay, this is not the way to have a financial conversation.
No, not at all.
Because like, sure, maybe up until that point, his parents were covering everything. But...
Yeah.
Maybe now you can be like, okay, well, it's great that your parents covered you. Now we're going to be probably splitting the bills like this way. Are you okay with that? Done. Easy. Great. Fantastic. Yeah. And then if he doesn't meet that, then you can break up. Like, fuck.
I know.
Oh, she was so horrible. I honestly can't.
I'm glad they ended it, though. They were not compatible.
Yes.
They need to find other people. Like, find your own ways, guys.
Definitely not. And no. Next. Okay.
Should we talk about... I can't remember their names. We'll have to look them up. The couple with the not the cheater, but the almost cheater.
Garrett?
Yeah, is it Garrett?
The one that got
No. Remember they actually split up on the show? It was that guy.
The cheater?
He didn't actually cheat. He was messaging somebody.
Is that not cheating?
Well, it is cheating, yeah.
Come on, it's still cheating.
Yeah.
I think if you message someone sexual things, that's cheating, whether or not you actually go through with it.
Or not.
Okay,
yeah.
So that couple, God, what are their names? I think the girl's name was Monica and Steven.
Right. Oh my God.
So Monica and Steven.
I felt really bad for Monica.
Oh my. First of all.
Fuck.
Steven. I fucking knew there was like a little bit of me when he was talking from the beginning.
Right.
This guy's full of shit.
Yeah.
He's just playing this nice guy.
Like, but not just nice, like ultra nice. Like,
yes.
Very
way
like
too
clean
much.
boy image.
Yes.
Very like,
I'm in therapy.
Yeah.
And oh my God, like
I wanted to connect with my family's roots. So I,
yes.
I did all this stuff,
and then
found out about Africa and where we're from and blah, blah, blah.
He was
She's
part African.
Yeah.
Or part black.
Yeah.
And he's like, and then which is fine.
Yeah.
Yeah. It was too much.
He just like, it felt overall his whole aura. I was like, this feels very fake. Like something's going on here. And where it hit me the most was, well, there's two things that happened on their honeymoon where I was like, shit's going to go down. Something's weird here. So the two things, I don't know if it's the same for you. The first one was when Monica was kind of making a joke, but like, I guess like they weren't obviously the most compatible, I think.
Well, yeah. Well, how do we think about the reveal?
Oh, the reveal.
I think she was not into him.
Yeah, I felt like, I don't know. I felt like on the fence about it. I didn't feel like she was like...
She wasn't super icked out?
Yes.
He was super into it because she is gorgeous.
Yeah, she's so hot.
She is so hot.
Yeah.
So he was like, oh my God, I hit the jackpot.
Yeah.
And she's just like, oh, you're cute.
Yeah. But I think she did like him. Like,
sure.
obviously she had feelings for him and stuff. And I think that the two things for me that were right away were weird, other than him, the ultra nice thing, that was number one.
Sure.
But the two other things was...
On the honeymoon, you mean?
Yeah, on the honeymoon. The one was like, she's like, God, he's like, every time we're like hanging out and stuff, he's always like poking his boner into me. Like, he's just like very
sexual.
Very like overly sexual.
Overly, especially for what, 30-something-year-old man?
Yeah. And which it is what it is.
Which is fine.
Yeah, but that was one thing I was like, oh, interesting. And then the other thing was when they were sat down and they're outside and he made a comment about how like, you know, oh, somebody's going to slide into your DMs and like say something like something really sexual or something like this. And I was like, why are you saying this?
Yeah.
Like that caught me where I was like,
it was out of nowhere.
It was out of nowhere. It was very weird. It obviously pissed Monica off too. She was like, what the fuck? Like, what is he talking about? So those were the two like red flags for me.
Well, and then I remember when they were in the pods, she was asking like, have you ever cheated? And I was thinking, I was like, I wonder why they're showing this part. Interesting. Maybe a little foreshadowing perhaps.
Well, it is a TV show.
He literally said, he's like, oh yeah, I was in a relationship, I got insecure, and then I messaged some girl on Instagram. Didn't do anything, but yeah, like blah blah blah. Well,
a repeat offender.
Exactly. What you know what they say?
Yeah.
Once a cheater,
always a cheater. And the crazy thing is like
you couldn't even wait like a week.
I know.
Like
they had finished their honeymoon.
Yeah.
They got into the real world where they get like a place given to them or where they live in.
They get their phones back.
Yeah, they get their phones back. They're back in the real world, whatever. And like they're not even in the real world for like a fucking week. And I remember the scene because like I don't remember exactly what happened. Then he got home and she starts questioning him.
Yes.
And I'm like, what the fuck is going on? And then it comes out that while he was like, I don't know, getting a massage or he was doing some
he said he went to some sleep therapy.
But
sleep
therapy.
His excuse was that he was drunk when he was going to sleep therapy.
Oh, right. Yeah. He was
something,
like...
Yeah.
The story changed.
Yeah.
Always. The thing is, I think he tried to play himself. He tried to play a character on the show.
Yes.
He wanted to be the nice guy. Oh. Like that was his persona. So when he got caught out on this cheating, he still tried to make it like he was the nice guy. Oh, I was drunk. Oh, I was this. So that people will like hopefully forgive him and not turn him into a villain on the show. When in reality, it's like he was messaging and she was like, I guess somehow saw the messages and she was like, they were like filthy. Like they were like super.
He was messaging some random girl, some
super kinky shit between the two of them. And she's like, it hasn't even been a week.
Yeah.
Like,
so he was basically cheating.
Yeah.
And I think what happened was, well, first of all, I don't think Monica was very into him.
Yeah.
And she was kind of like there were times when I was like, okay, she also doesn't respect this man. Because there were times when she was like, oh, can you like stop talking or something? Yeah. And it got like really awkward. And I could just kind of tell that she was just like not really that into it. And he was feeling a bit insecure. And I think what happened was he was feeling insecure. He knew that he's thinking, oh, Monica's like way out of my league.
Yeah.
And instead of being like, oh, great, I, got a great girl. Some guys will cheat. This is why sometimes when really attractive women date or are with like somewhat mediocre men, the mediocre men end up cheating because they want to feel, because they're insecure.
Yeah.
So he got insecure and then he started fucking messaging some other girl.
Yeah.
The same pattern as he did the last time.
There's a pattern here, guys.
So then they break up. Great. Yeah. Another one bites the dust.
Yeah. It was crazy. I think this is the season when the fewest couples ended up at the altar.
This is what I mean. Again, men. Why do men?
I know.
Okay, again, Hannah's the one girl I'm going to be like, okay, you were the worst in that relationship.
Yeah.
The rest, it's the men.
Yeah. Because then there was that guy, Steven. Oh my God. And the way he he was like trying to be overly nice. And even when he talked and stuff, I was just like, it feels like you're putting on a character. Like this feels
it was
so fucking fake. And this is the problem because it's such a short period of time. Like
you could fall for it.
Yeah. Like I personally, guys, if I went on a show and it was only for a month, I know it would be harder if you're like living with them day to day, but I could play a character.
Yeah.
Like you could do it. You could do it for a month.
I feel like you can't do it.
I probably
I don't
couldn't.
think
Well, yeah, I probably couldn't, but like people can.
Yeah, people can.
Because it's not like a year. It's not like 2 years. Then it gets a little bit harder to continue to play a character.
The thing is, they say that even in regular normal relationships, you know, most people are on their best behavior in like the first like 3 months or so or something. And then, you know, cracks start to show. You start to show your real personality. Not that everyone's faking it, but you're on your best behavior. And then, you know, you start to show a little bit more of your true self. And then you get to see the real person. Yeah. So it's insane to me that anyone thinks it's like normal to marry someone within like a month of knowing each other. That's insane. And yes, sometimes it works out. 9 times out of 10, though, it does not.
Yeah.
So let's talk about the boring couple.
Taylor and Garrett?
Yes.
Yeah.
Taylor and Garrett. So there's some speculation. So there's a little bit of drama with this couple. So this is the couple that everybody was like, okay, there's always one couple in the season where people are like, oh, they're going to be like the perfect couple that gets married.
Yeah. And they were like from day one, you're like, okay, they're going to get married.
Yeah. And they're going to be the boring couple that nobody cares about.
Yeah.
Because we like the drama.
Yeah,
okay?
we do. We live for the drama.
Exactly. So the thing is, there was one point where he like kind of freaked out about her not saying her last name or something, or her mom's last name.
Right.
In the pods. So she was saying, okay, I want to do the experiment right and not tell you what my race is.
Yes.
Because that's the whole point of this experiment is that we don't know what we look like.
Yeah.
And then he kind of like semi freaked out.
Yeah.
He was like, oh, well, I'm used to dating white girls. And he said something about how things that she says come off as calculated, sorry. Yeah. And they come off as like, oh, you know, she's thinking too much.
Yeah.
About what she's saying. So is she really showing her authentic self?
Yeah.
And I was like, wow, you're like really freaking out about like, you know, not knowing whether or not she's white.
I know. Like,
and some people are saying the results of their relationship would have been very different if she wasn't basically like white passing.
Right.
Because she's half white, right?
Yeah, she's half.
And she's like, she looks half.
Yeah.
She looks white passing enough.
Yes. Interesting.
But I don't know. Who knows? Like maybe it's just speculation.
Yeah.
But some people were really digging, and I don't really agree with this at all. When they met Garrett's parents, and Garrett's parent, you know, his mom was like crying a lot.
Yeah.
And some people on the internet, which I think they're spending too much time on the internet, they're like, oh my God, it's because she's racist and she's sad that she's
now has like a half Asian daughter.
Yeah, that Taylor is like a half Asian. And I'm like, okay, come on.
Yeah.
You're allowed to be upset that your son all of a sudden wants to marry someone within like a week of meeting them.
Yeah.
And you're a bit concerned, or you're a bit, you know, you get emotional.
Yeah. Like if your kid goes up to you and they're like, oh, by the way, Mom, Dad, I'm marrying someone I met like a week ago.
Yeah.
Of course you're going to be like, what the fuck?
I would actually say that that's probably more of a normal reaction than most of the parents that are very supportive of this.
And a lot of parents were very supportive.
Most of them were very supportive, which, you know, it's great to see. But then if you really like peel back the layers and you think, they're really like condoning this behavior. Yeah,
it was kind of, that was interesting. And I do feel like they put in the show, they put that whole text the
texting of the ex.
Yeah. I feel like they just put that in there because this couple really didn't have much drama.
Right.
And it wasn't like a big, like Taylor did get pretty upset about it.
She did freak out a little more than I think she should have.
Because he just basically said because she said, first, she didn't know right away, and then he told her about that he liked the message.
Yes.
And then the reason she got so upset is because later when he was talking to other people, he said he responded to the message.
Sure.
And she's like, liking a message and responding are two different things. And he said his response, which was a very good response, was just like, hey, I'm in a relationship now. I
have a fiance.
I have a fiance.
Which is the response that she wanted.
Yeah.
But I do think he did lie. I don't know why he would lie.
I know why not just say it?
Like I would have, because like that's what she wanted. She was like, oh, I need you to shut it down or something.
Yeah.
I don't know exactly what she wanted. I think like even liking the message is like fine. Like, you know, she said you need to shut it down. And he actually did shut it down. So I don't know why he lied about it. Maybe he was just freaking out at the moment.
I think he probably was stressed.
Yeah. Because she was like, really getting like she was very upset even from that initial exchange. Because initially when he had told her about the text, she got super upset about it.
Yeah.
And she was like, oh, I need you to shut it down, like blah blah blah. And I was like, hey, this is a bit of an overreaction.
Yeah.
Because, you know, he liked the message, he didn't respond, like that's probably fine. So I think he freaked out and kind of like told like a fib and was like, oh, I just like the message. And then later when he was amongst other people was like, yeah, I just responded and said I have a fiance now and that I can't talk to you anymore.
Yeah.
Which is the response that she wanted.
Exactly.
But then she full on freaked out and I was like, hey, again, I think emotions are very heightened.
Yeah.
And I think because she thought everything was perfect with this man.
Right.
And she has to make this like giant decision within like 3 days.
I know, it's so crazy.
So she probably freaked out.
I can't even imagine being in that situation. Like, it's just like, it's a lot.
It's a lot. But they got married.
Yeah.
So yay. Congratulations. Yay. First couple to get married.
Yes. So shall we talk about...
So who's next? Let's see here.
Marissa.
Oh.
And Ramses.
Oh. Marissa and Ramses.
Yeah. I really like Marissa.
Marissa's like my fave.
I think she's such a cool, nice person. Like, she just has this like personality that like I got attracted to.
Oh, totally.
I was like,
we definitely would like Marissa.
Oh yeah, I'm like, I could be friends with you. Like, I feel like we would be friends in real lilife.
Yeah, she's very, positive, bubbly.
Yeah,
seems super genuine. Actually,
yes, she seemed like one of the most genuine people on the show, and I understand. Like, oh my god. Like, so, and she was very like honest. I felt like she was like very in touch with a lot of her feelings, which I thought was kind of interesting because she does come from such a broken home that it's like quite interesting to see. Like, she has siblings all from like different fathers.
Yeah, and let's talk about Marissa's mom for a second.
She was
she could not be the most opposite of Marissa.
Oh my god, she was just like negative.
Yes,
always had a sour face on.
She hated everything and
everyone. I was just
could not bear to see her daughter happy.
No.
But again, I understand.
Yeah.
I understand warning her daughter.
Yeah, I get that part, but she definitely seemed like a miserable woman. Like, no offense, Marissa, to your mom. I know you love her very much, but like, compared to you, Marissa's like this like bubbly, like just seems like a really nice and like logical and...
Well, maybe not so logical because...
Well, she's on the show, but like...
Yeah. I don't know. She's with Ramses.
Yeah. But like, she was very, transparent. I felt like she talked really good about her feelings as well.
Sure,
like, she was very good at like
articulating.
Yeah. Okay. And I was like, I really liked her a lot.
So so she also had a love triangle situation.
Yes. Yeah.
There was Ramses and there was another guy that I actually preferred in terms of like, I felt like they had more chemistry, like they had more of a connection.
Yeah.
His name was Bodhi or something.
Yeah.
And he was actually really cute too.
He was a good looking guy.
And they had a connection because they both worked in the military or whatever.
Yeah.
And they seemed to get along really well. But she thought that they only gave friend vibes. Now, I do think she has a bit of... My guess is that she has a pattern of picking men that are probably not great for her.
Yes.
Because the fact that she thought immediately that Bodhi, who she had a great connection with, was just friend vibes.
Yeah.
I'm like, why though?
Yeah.
Based on what?
I think it's just...
You felt too comfortable with him?
Yeah, maybe. And they just kind of had like that bubbly both personality.
Which would have been, I think, great.
Yeah, I think it would have gone together good.
Anyway, so she ended it with him. He took it really well as well, which is another reason why I really liked Bodhi.
Yeah, I liked him a lot.
Yeah, I was like, oh my God, he took it so well. Like, there was no jealousy, no like hatred toward... Ramses didn't like the fact that he was competing with somebody else. I could feel that.
Ramses was a piece of work.
He was a fucking piece of work.
Because he plays it off.
Yes.
Like he's this... Because Ramses?
I think it's Ramses.
So he plays it off like he, he's like very like against the patriarchy, and he's like not the typical macho man. He's very in touch with his like feelings, and he's like trying to like be that kind of guy. But at the same time, he does these actions or things where he comes off as such a prick and a chauvinistic prick.
Right, yeah.
Like a misogynist.
Right.
Like, there were certain scenes where I was like, I cannot believe that somebody that is so in touch with his feelings and so respectful of women are having this conversation. Like, the whole conversation around wearing a condom.
Oh, okay. So the condom situation. So, well, I was frustrated the entire conversation because I was like, oh my God, why?
Yeah.
First of all, Marissa... No, what's her name? Is it Marissa?
Marissa, I'm pretty sure. Yeah.
Marissa said, she brings up the conversation like, oh, I think they were talking about having kids.
Yeah.
She said she wants to have kids pretty quickly.
Yeah, in the next couple of years.
And then he said he wants to wait. Yeah. Okay, great. And then she's like, well, we should probably talk about birth control. And then she says, this is what frustrated me a little bit about this conversation. She says, I should probably go on birth control. Instead of saying, well, I don't think I can go on birth control because I have hormonal issues.
Yes.
So let's talk about alternatives. She says, I could probably go on birth control.
Yeah.
And then he says, oh, okay, that's an option. And then she says, well, I don't know if I should though, because it's going to fuck up with my hormones, which I totally understand.
Yeah. Which makes sense.
Because birth control for women is like, it can be awful.
Yeah.
So then, especially if she already has some health issues.
Yeah.
And then she's like, well, I don't know if I should because I have these issues. She's like, what do you think about wearing a condom? I'm like, I wish you just brought up the condom from the beginning.
Yeah.
But
And
anyway,
he was like adamant. He's like,
he was
no,
like, well,
sex
no.
has got to feel good.
Okay, well, let's be fair. He didn't immediately say no. He did say, well, I guess we could do that, but like, do you enjoy sex with a condom? And then she's like, well, it's not so bad. I enjoy it. And he says, well, I don't really enjoy it. And like, but at the very end, he did kind of become more stubborn and says, well, I need the sex to be enjoyable. I'm like, okay, guys.
Yeah.
Can you please sit and talk? Like, you know, first of all, yes, like, I'm trying to understand both sides here. You can't dismiss a woman like that immediately being like, hey, I don't want to like harm my body, which is why I wish she didn't immediately come out and say, I should probably go on birth control.
Yeah.
I kind of wish she said, I'm not going to go on birth control from the beginning.
Because it fucks up with my body.
Yes.
Yeah, that's what she should have said to begin with. But
Exactly.
then there's also another scene too where she's going through her time of the month.
Oh, this is the worst one.
Yeah, and she's like hormonal and has like a lot of stuff going on because she does have some health issues.
She has some issues.
Which she talked about openly.
Sure.
And the thing that I got is like Ramses was like such a dick again because she was like, she had kind of come to the end of the cycle and, you know, was coming back to like,
she's exhausted, whatever.
They were chatting about it and he goes, well, I need this physical. Like and she's like, look, I had my period. Like I had stuff going on. Like I didn't want to have sex. You know, and he's like, well, this is really important for me, blah, blah, blah. And she's like,
I'm worried that it's going to be in the future a problem. And I'm like, okay, well, you guys were clearly having great sex before.
Exactly.
So it's not like it's going to be a permanent, constant problem.
But I feel like with Ramses, and we'll go through this more, but I feel like less obvious than Hannah, but was looking for problems in the relationship to get out.
I think he wasn't into it from the beginning.
Yeah.
So I think what was going on, and I think part of this is like I think he's avoidant. I think he has avoidant attachment issues based on some of the things I was seeing. So I think because Marissa was super into him from the very beginning.
Oh yeah, she
loved him.
Yeah.
She was like obsessed, and she thought he was super hot. And I mean, Marissa's also very hot.
She's hot.
But I think Ramses was just kind of like, okay, great. And then, he was looking for reasons to end it. That's definitely what it is.
And I thought it was ironic because, again, when he did decide to end it, I still am confused with that conversation as to what the fuck Ramses was talking about.
Because he didn't have a reason. He just wanted to end it.
He just talked in circles. And it was like, all of this stuff, like I need to watch this scene again because it literally made no fucking sense because he was like, the energy, and then the energy's off, and then, but I connected with you and I liked you. And then at one point, and I think Marissa made a really good point. She's like, I don't think you should have gone on this show then. Because I do genuinely feel, number one, he was looking for reasons to get out from day one.
Yes.
Number two, he had this chip on his shoulder in a sense that he did not want to get divorced, right? He's already been divorced once and he kept talking about it. He kept saying,
yes, I know. He's obsessed with it.
I know. He's like, I don't want to get divorced again. I don't want to get divorced again. I'm like, dude, you're on a show where you marry someone in a month and and you're worried about getting divorced again?
Yeah.
What the fuck?
Yeah, get real, please.
Exactly. It's like, why the fuck are you on this show? If you're so concerned about getting divorced again, go date someone for 5 years before you marry them.
Exactly.
Then. Go date them for 20 years and then get married.
You're this cautious and you're on Love is Blind. Come on.
It's so stupid. Like, I do feel like he shouldn't have been on the show. He wasted Marissa's time.
Totally.
Completely. Because she was on board for the experiment. She was really on board. She was like, even said to him, she's like, you know what? I think we're great at communicating. Like, we can have an amazing life together. We have great sex. Like, everything's here. And he just, I don't think he wanted to get married.
I don't think, this is what I mean. A lot of these men on this season, especially, like, for example, the guy that like cheated.
Yeah.
Like, were you really on the show because you really wanted to find a wife? I don't think so.
He wanted to get followers on Instagram and he wanted to talk to girls about kinky shit on Instagram.
Exactly. I'm like, you're into that much kinky shit and you're going to be finding someone on Love is Blind.
Exactly.
Buddy, there's kink sites all over the place. Go on a kink site.
Yeah.
Anyway, so Ramses, you're right. I think during the honeymoon, they were like all chemistry. Everything's great. Fantastic. Right. We're so into each other. Great. But then afterwards, maybe when things started to get real, he like freaked out.
Like most men.
And he was like, oh my God, like, I don't think I can do this.
Yeah.
And then he started to bring up random shit that you probably should have talked about in the pod, such
100%.
as the military.
Oh my God, I know.
That conversation was so frustrating because it was like, okay, I understand if you have thoughts. I'm also against the military.
Yeah.
If you have thoughts against the military, Ramses, that's great. Agreed. You knew she was in the military.
From day one. She always talked about it. Yeah.
So why did you not bring it up as soon as that conversation got brought up?
Yeah.
When you were in the pods, this one opportunity where you could be like, you can rule somebody out immediately. You could be like, hey, what are your thoughts in the military now? Do you think that aligns with your values? Do you think you'd ever join the military again? You can cover those conversations very easily from day one, and you decided to leave it until after the honeymoon.
Yeah.
After you've already been engaged,
and then to
bring it up.
Exactly. And then she was like, she was kind of on the fence about it. Like Marissa, like she was like, look, I'm still value the service that I did. Yeah. I'm still honored that I did it. And and then that obviously conflicted with his values. I'm like, but guys, like you said, talk about it in the fucking pods. Why is this coming out now?
Because I think he was looking for reasons
of course.
To get out.
This is it. Literally every single conversation they had, you notice it's always Ramses. And it wasn't like they would, and actually, like, despite his reluctance to want to be in a relationship and his, wanting to basically look for reasons out, overall, though, I think the reason he had a hard time is because they actually did have like a decent, I feel like, connection. And
they had decent chemistry, not connection.
Yeah, they had decent chemistry.
They had physical chemistry.
And I also think overall, Marissa's like, she was like one of the more, like if he would dated someone like Hannah, he would have been able to clash. Exactly. He would have been able to end it sooner, but he didn't have the like big blow up fight.
Because she's so nice.
Exactly. He couldn't have that. So he had to find other reasons to like pick her down. The military. Oh, this.
Oh, yes,
the
sex, sexual thing.
I need to be touched all the time. Like all this stuff. It's like, oh my God, man. Like you literally. And then honestly, I've never been more frustrated than that conversation he had with Marissa, where he was just like, yeah, just the vibes. The vibes are off. Like, you're the energy. And she's like, well, you liked my energy in the pods. Like, you knew about this. This is not new. Like,
right.
I'm an energetic person. I have my ups and downs or whatever. And he was just like, it's too much.
It's too much for me. It's too much. He was just not into it.
Yeah, he's a bullshit liar.
Mm-hmm. He wanted to end it.
Yeah.
And, well, I'm glad it ended because, like, poor Marissa.
Yeah. And God, she was so emotional. Oh, my gosh, she was
so sad. That actually seemed very real.
Yeah.
And I was like, that looked like a real breakup. She
felt
was, like,
so bad
crying
for her.
so hard. But
I wanted to give her a hug.
I know, but in the end, I think she did not choose the right man. Okay, that man was toxic AF.
Yes,
okay?
Yeah.
Very fucking toxic.
Red flags.
So many fucking red flags. I can't.
And also, like, what was with those little hair things coming down?
I know. God.
Like, I think he's trying to be like
edgy and different.
Edgy and different, but really he's a chauvinistic prick. So that's my thoughts on him.
There you go. That's Marissa and Ramses. So again, another couple that ended it before the fucking wedding.
It's crazy. Like, pretty much all the couples.
Yeah, only 2 couples made it to the altar. Can we talk about this? I feel like in the beginning they like forced everyone to go to the altar.
Yeah.
But now slowly it's like changed.
Kind of. I agree.
Do we like that?
I think it's good because I think it's like,
I think so too.
Yeah, because I'm like honestly,
because some couples you just know it's not gonna go well.
Yeah, and then they go to the altar anyway, and then it's one person might say yes, and then the other person doesn't. You're like, oh my God, this is so bad.
Like
where there probably is a clause now where they're like, people are like, look, if this is not working, I'm not going to the aisle.
Yeah, totally.
So and then our last couple.
Oh, is that it? Oh,
we have one more.
Okay, wait. There's no, we have 2 more, Daniel. We have to talk about Alex and what's his fucking face? Hold on.
Alex.
The other one that didn't make it to the altar. You don't remember?
Oh my God.
Alex and Tim.
Oh my God. What the fuck?
This episode is going to be 2 hours long because I have so much to say about this fucking couple too.
What the fuck was going on with Alex
and Tim? So which one is Alex and which one? Tim. Okay, Tim is obviously Tim.
Yeah.
So I was like, okay, which one's Alex and Tim? Okay. So, first of all, another case of the reveal and the woman being disappointed.
Yes. Yeah.
I feel like all the women were quite disappointed.
Yeah, they're like, compared to previous seasons where some of the guys were pretty hot.
Yeah.
They get there and they're just like
Tim wasn't bad, but he was very average.
Yeah.
Very average.
But he frustrated the fuck out of me.
Again, why?
He was like, I feel like, and I could be wrong, but I feel like he was like the biggest gaslighter. Like, or maybe not gaslighter, but just like.
He was just. Here's what he did. Okay, here's what happened. So they reveal she's not that into it.
Yeah.
Clearly, whatever connection they had in the pods, which was just trauma dumping, by the way.
Yeah.
It was like, oh my God. Like, the only thing I know about Tim is that his 2 sisters died.
Yes.
That's all I know about Tim.
Yeah.
And she had her parents have MS or something.
Yeah, her dad.
So they bonded over trauma, which great, fantastic. But let's bond over something else as well, please.
Yes.
So they meet. There's clearly no actual connection.
Yeah.
She's really not into it. And I do think in the honeymoon, she was like, at first I was on his side.
Yeah.
Because she was really mean to him as well.
Yeah, on the honeymoon, she was not nice.
She was not nice to him. She was really not into him. And it was very obvious from the beginning.
But then it kind of flipped.
So he would do things that would like annoy her. Again, give her the ick.
Yeah.
Like he kept saying, "Oh, I have a dog in me. I have a dog in me."
Right.
And she was like, "Oh, stop that. That's disgusting.
Yeah,
stop it."
saying that. And he'd be like, "Woof."
Yeah.
She's like, "Ugh."
They were he was annoying her bad.
Yeah,
and she
yeah.
was getting very annoyed at every little thing.
Yeah.
And then they had some kind of. And also, can we talk about how this season nothing was on camera?
I know.
All the important scenes were off camera.
I know. I'm like, because when they had the big discussion, I was like, "What the fuck happened?"
I know. No, we don't even know what happened.
Well, and I do the same thing as you. Is like I'll be like doing other things while I'm watching it. Yeah. And so I did that, and sometimes I'm not paying attention, and then all of a sudden there'll be like a big discussion that they're having, and I'm like, "What did I miss? Where's the drama?" So I'd rewind back, and I'm like,
"Yeah," and you didn't miss.
I'm like, "Where's the scene?"
They need to start explaining when things like that happen. I get it; things might happen off camera.
Yeah.
But you need to like sit down and explain to the people what fucking happened because it's very confusing.
Yeah.
So something happened off camera where Tim was very upset.
Yeah. He was mad because apparently like Alex didn't make an effort with his parents.
No, this is after though.
Oh,
we're talking about the honeymoon.
Oh, the honeymoon. Right. Yeah. Right. Okay.
So in the honeymoon, they had this big fight.
Yes. Yeah.
But we don't know what happened.
Yes.
And I think apparently she called him something. We still don't know what.
Right. And that's when he got all moody and he was like, I don't know if I can do this. And he was going to break up. Yes.
Eventually, they resolved it. Yep. Fine. But I think he never got rid of that grudge against her.
Yeah. Well, because I agree with you. I think in the honeymoon phase, for whatever reason, she was quite mean to him.
She wasn't into him.
But then it flipped. And then she actually...
I think it flipped because he could tell that she was annoyed with him.
Yeah.
And he was probably annoyed with the energy. And then he was already like on edge because she was obviously not into him.
Yeah.
And then something flipped.
Yeah. But then she started like after
being
that,
nicer,
she seemed like really nice. Like she actually, there was like a change in her. Like when she met his parents,
sure.
When she like everything, she seemed a lot more like she almost reined it in a little bit.
Yes. Yeah. I did notice that.
Because she like before she was like I feel like she's one of those people that gets a bit like confrontational.
Yes.
But I feel like she took a step back and was like more demure, you know?
A little bit.
Cutesy.
And then he had met her dad.
Yeah.
And had this like very emotional scene. Mm-hmm. Her dad was crying. I almost fucking cried.
Yeah.
Because her dad was very like emotional.
Yeah. And
he was all like, he was like basically asking, for his hand in marriage or whatever. And then the dad was all like, yes, I approve. And it was all very emotional. And then 2 days later, she takes a nap and the relationship is over.
Yeah. Well, what had happened and because he again, I feel like he didn't communicate properly. And he was like, you're never responding to me, blah, blah, blah. She's like, you sent me one text message. I responded. And then I was tired from work. So I went and took a nap. And then
hold on. This is what happened.
Well, and then, no, there's a couple different things.
There's a few things. He started with the nap.
Yeah.
So basically his parents had driven 10 hours to see the family. Yeah. And then he said after filming, she immediately went up and took a nap. Yeah. Now, later on, they say they were talking for 4 hours, which is a significant period of time. Yeah. And then she took a nap. Yeah. I'm like, okay, I think that's fine.
I think that's very fair.
Anyways, he thought that was like unacceptable.
So disrespectful.
And then he started bringing up the texting.
Right. Yeah.
And how she wasn't responding to the text.
Yeah.
And then she was like, well, I was busy. I was at work. And he's like, well, what did he say about the texting?
He was I can't remember exactly how he worded it, but he was just like, he felt like she just didn't care.
Right. Like and then he was like, oh, and then later you tried to call me to try to dictate when I can talk to you.
Oh yeah. Right. He was like, you're trying to call me. Exactly. You called me at this time. I didn't want to speak to you then.
Well then, okay, that's fine.
Yeah. And it was very weird, that confrontation.
It was so over the top.
Yeah.
I understand you can be maybe a bit disappointed,
of course,
that your partner decided to take a nap after 4 hours of talking to your family.
Yeah. Which
I think is more than fair. You could be like, hey, you might be fucking exhausted from doing that because you're putting on, you're trying to impress your family, whatever.
Yeah.
But then if that disappointed you, that is something very easy to resolve.
Exactly.
If you really love this person.
And I feel like what Tim did though, and I could be wrong, but I feel like he didn't communicate properly. And what he would do is he would like leave it for a while, let these things build up, and then he would just blow up, and then it would be unacceptable to him. Yeah. And it's like, well, and she did mention it. She was like, look, if these are things that are bothering you, and this is why I did, she warmed up to me later, right? Like in the beginning, I was like, you're not very nice. But then, and actually the confrontation that they had together, I felt like Tim was being very unreasonable, and she actually was like being quite.
Oh, she was completely reasonable.
She was just like, hey, like, look, I was up with your parents. You know, I stayed with them for 4 hours chatting, went to sleep. If these are things that are bothering you, you need to tell me. Like, you didn't communicate with me. She's like, we need to make this work. You have to talk to me. And I could tell, like, Tim is the kind of guy, he just doesn't talk about anything.
Right.
He like just leaves it and then like blows up.
Right.
So I think that was.
And then he was like, yeah, he was like, he had all, like, again, these are very easy to fix issues. Like the texting, for example. He could easily be like, hey, I appreciate, because everyone has different texting styles and different texting requirements for their partner. Not requirements, but like expectations for their partner.
Yeah.
And those are things that you have to communicate.
Yeah.
Otherwise, like, you're both going to not be happy.
Exactly. You got to meet in the middle.
And then he's like, so dramatic. He's like, oh, well, this is not what I look for in a wife. There's no way that I can marry you. And this is the last time we'll be seeing each other.
Yeah, he's like...
because she took a nap.
I know. It's crazy. I think he's just like honestly, I think he needs to go to therapy.
Or he was also just checked out from the relationship and was looking for some fucking reason to
He wanted to get out.
Yeah, definitely.
And it pisses me off. But like in some ways, like again, I applaud Alex because again, this is another similar to the Nick and Hannah situation. Hannah being a bit of a dick to Nick.
Yeah.
And Nick taking it like a champ and being really respectful and not blowing up. Alex had like a character arc because if it happened in Mexico, she would have been a bitch about it.
Yes.
But this happened. And actually the way he was actually being quite aggressive with her, I felt.
Yeah.
She was just being very like calm, collected, being like, look, you know, these are things you got to communicate with me.
Yeah.
Okay, if I fucked up, I'm sorry. I'm sorry that you felt that way. Like she was being a very like adult about it. And then he's like, absolutely, this is not going to work. We're done. This is done. And she's like, seriously? Like,
yeah. Good luck having any relationship if that's your immediate reaction.
Exactly. I'm like, oh my God, she took a fucking nap and didn't respond to one of your text messages.
It's the end of the world.
God forbid. Oh my God.
God forbid she calls you at a time when she has time to call you.
Exactly. God forbid. Oh my God.
Dictate the time.
You want to just dictate when you talk to me? It's like, oh my God, man.
Maybe she was off work then. Finally, she could talk.
Exactly. Oh. He has some kind of like weird chip on his shoulder or something.
He has issues.
Yeah, he does. He has major. Like he needs to go to therapy.
Definitely.
He needs some assistance.
Okay, so now finally the final
couple.
Which, oh my, okay.
Do you have a lot to say about them?
Well, here's the thing. If I just saw the show and didn't see anything else, then I'd be like, great. It's a boring couple. Fantastic. What are their fucking names? Is it Tyler and Ashley?
And yes,
Tyler and Ashley.
Yeah.
So again, they're bonding over God and spirituality. Great.
I did think
fantastic.
Tyler was pretty hot.
I thought he was like, meh.
I thought
average.
He was good looking.
Okay. He's not bad.
Ashley was gorgeous.
Ashley was absolutely gorgeous.
Yeah.
He was okay.
Yeah.
He's not the worst. I think you just liked him because he's tall.
Yeah. Probably.
I thought he was okay. Not bad. Again, not bad.
Yeah.
And they looked really cute. They seemed perfect. Everything seemed fine.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden, again, this fucking all happens
after the pods.
After the pods.
Yeah.
They talk about having children. He's like, oh, I want like 7 kids. Another red flag.
Yeah.
I fucking hate when men, oh, I want like 10 children. I'm like, fucking hell.
Yeah. You don't have to birth them.
Yeah. Of course you want 10 children. All you have to do is fucking have an orgasm and you're done.
Yeah.
Like, are you fucking kidding me? Anyways. And also, I just feel like it's kind of a red flag when a guy says he wants like 12 kids.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, it's like they just want to spread their seed.
Yeah.
Oh, it's weird.
It's like that. It's like that doctor that wanted to spread his
seed.
Yes.
Like, it's weird.
Oh. And even that saying, I'm here. I want to spread my seed. I'm going to give you my seed. Oh.
So anyways, so he, all of a sudden, again, they're all sitting on the couch. We don't see the full conversation.
Yeah.
Apparently, trouble in paradise. She finds out that he has 3 kids.
Yes.
And he says it's from surrogacy.
Yes.
As in he was donating his sperm. And he claimed multiple times that he did not know these children.
And he had no relationship.
He's like, I don't even think these kids know what I look like. Basically, he made it seem like he was just this benevolent sperm donor.
Like a really nice guy giving out his sperm.
Yeah, his friend wanted to have kids, blah,
spreading
blah, blah.
his seed.
Later on, apparently, all these pictures came out.
Oh.
You know about this, right?
Yep. I love the internet sometimes.
I know.
I just, you know what? I love that people have so much time on their hands.
No, but I think his not his ex-wife, but like the mother of his children.
Yeah.
Came out and was like,
no.
He got kids.
Yeah.
And look at he's at the pumpkin patch with the fucking children.
Yeah. You see them all smiles. Like,
yeah.
Like clearly
he looks
they
like a
know
family.
you.
He has like family photos with them.
Yeah.
And so we find out off camera or off the show.
Yeah.
That he actually does have a relationship with them. And apparently, like, I don't know the full story, but apparently, like, a year before, he like, cut ties so that he could go on the show.
Oh, my God.
Which is absolutely insane to me.
Yeah.
So anyways, first of all, even if you take the show at face value and, like, not think about the things off the show, it's like, how can you not mention?
Exactly.
Because it's kind of different from just being like a sperm donor where you like donate to a bank.
Yeah.
I feel like that's kind of okay.
Yeah,
it's like,
yeah.
That's like, I think, as far as I know, fully anonymous.
I think it can be. Yeah.
Really?
I think you can opt to maybe, I don't know. I think it can be anonymous or not.
Because, like, I don't know. If somebody was a sperm donor and they just donated to a sperm bank and they don't really know where the children,
exactly
where the kids are,
yeah,
then I feel like, okay, that's something maybe you can mention later on down the line.
For sure.
But if you donated your sperm to your friend,
yeah,
and
have a relation, and you're friends with them, and you have a relationship with the kids.
But even if you didn't have a relationship with the kids, it's like you have kids that are kind of close enough, a little too close for comfort.
Yeah,
you probably want to mention them to your new wife,
or you kind of want to mention them in the deep connection you have in the fucking
exactly.
pods.
And then later we find out that he was lying about the whole thing.
Yeah.
Oh, I hope they get divorced.
I know. I'm really, really excited to see.
For the reunion?
Yeah, it's tomorrow, guys.
I know. I wish we saw the reunion already.
I know. Because but I think in kind of some ways it's like good that we haven't seen it yet.
Yeah, because we don't know. We're just speculating.
We're speculating. But I'm like, did Ashley stay with Tyler? Because that's a huge thing to lie about.
I know. I heard she was like defending him.
Yeah, I heard that online she got like defensive as well.
Because maybe like within the year of their marriage, because they've been married for like a year now.
It's a year, yeah.
Maybe he mentioned it, but like that is like pathological, that kind of lie. Like, are you kidding me? What do you mean you abandon your children?
Mm-hmm. And you know what I was just thinking? A side note. Well, like, yeah, it's crazy. Like that is actually like, I still cannot believe he would lie about that. Because then it's like, what else is he lying about?
Exactly.
That's
a huge thing to lie about.
Exactly. So it's like, if it was a little thing, I'd be like, oh, whatever. It's like a little tiny thing, but it's a huge fucking thing to lie about.
And I heard that because he has 3 kids, one of them was surrogacy, because I think it was like to a lesbian couple. Yeah. So his friend was lesbian. Yeah. But apparently 2 out of the 3 kids were not surrogate and they were conceived naturally.
So he
had sex with a lesbian. Apparently.
With his lesbian friend.
They said it's conceived naturally. I could think of only one way to conceive naturally.
So that changes things.
Yeah. So again, why do another man that is lying on the show?
Yeah. I feel like there's a theme on this show that men are liars.
To be fair, out of all the seasons, there were definitely some insufferable women, but I feel like there were very few that were like lying deliberately or doing some shady shit. But I can think of many men on these shows.
This is true.
That lied, for example, about his sexuality. Oh, he said he was like bisexual, but really he was probably really gay.
Yeah.
What was the other lies?
Just so many.
Lied about, like, there was one guy that was like the nice guy last season or something, but then it turned out that he was in a full-on relationship and just wanted to be on the show.
Right. Oh my God. I forgot about that.
It's all the men.
Well, I mean, it's what's in reality.
What is wrong with these men that are on these shows?
I mean, in general, though, men be lying pieces of shit, Rose, including me. No.
Oh, God.
It's just crazy. It is actually crazy. And one thing I was going to say also, just reflecting on LIB, down with the kids,
Down with the kids.
It's crazy that we're on season 7 because I was thinking about this and I was like, the first episode came out in 2020 during COVID. Right? That was like the groundbreaker. It was like during Tiger King, during all this shit. So I'm like, they must have been pumping these out. Because normally it's like every year there's a season. Yeah. But we're only like 5 years in and there's 7 seasons.
There's 7 seasons. Yeah.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. So it's like they're doing 2 a year.
Yeah.
Actually, I think there's 2 this year maybe.
Yeah. I think they do one like every half a year. Because I'm pretty sure the last one came out pretty quickly.
Yeah. I think it was this year we did it.
Anyways.
Yeah.
So
crazy.
Yeah, it's pretty crazy.
Goddamn. I cannot wait to see the reunion.
Oh my God.
Guys.
There you go, guys. So that is our breakdown of, and Ashley and Tyler, they got married.
Yes. Yeah.
And it was, so the thing is, so you and I, we always do, me, you, and Christelle, our friend Christelle, we always do like a prediction. Yeah. And this time I was like so torn because with the Tyler and Ashley thing, I was only torn because I knew about the behind the scenes.
Right.
Things that were coming out. Yeah. So I was like, on surface, I was like, this couple's perfect, great, other
Yeah.
than the whole surrogacy thing.
Yeah.
But then she forgave him, so I was like, okay, it's probably. I was like, I think they're gonna say yes. But
Yeah.
then because I knew the backstory, I was like, oh, I don't know, maybe he's gonna say no at the altar because, you know, like there's no way you're gonna lie about all that and then marry her.
Yeah.
But then they said yes.
I know.
Anyways,
Hey, it is what it is. And it's funny because, like, again, guys, the only two couples that went to the altar both got married.
yeah, both
So
got married.
everyone else, it's crazy. And it's just crazy.
I know. Anyway, guys, let us
Yeah.
know what your thoughts are on the show. If you are watching on YouTube, leave a comment in the comment section. Make sure you thumbs up the video. Make sure you subscribe to our channel if you haven't already.
Mm-hmm.
If you're listening on your favorite podcast platform, make sure you follow us.
Yep.
Give us a little 5-star review. And what else, Daniels?
Of course, guys, check out Patreon, patreon.com/the SaVeg Podcast. You get exclusive content on there, ad-free content. You get to join a fun little community, and you get episodes a week before everyone else. And also, guys, check out the link in the show notes to our Canadian Rockies trip and come join us.
Yeah, come
There's
join
still
us.
still a few spots left, so let's go camping and hiking together.
It's going to be so good, you guys. I hope to see you there. And we will talk to you next week. We'll maybe do a little bit of a deep dive into the reunion next week, maybe.
Oh, we could
We could
mention add that to
reunion.
some stories.
Yes,
Yeah.
done.
Yeah.
All right, guys. Thank you so much for listening, and we'll talk to you next week.
Bye.
Bye.